Hi guys, it's Brian from Pad Wrap, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the new Easy Cut pre-cut Pad Wrap graphics. And I'm just going to show you real quick some tips on application here. I have a CCM, this is the eFlex 2. This is a junior, and the junior and the intermediate often are a little bit different than the senior level or the pro level gear, because all the stitching you see here is really aesthetic only. On a senior or a pro pad, this stitching is going to be holding strips of Gen Pro in place that'll typically overlap where the stitching is. In this case, it's really just here for aesthetics. You're not getting all of these color zones stitched in. So for that reason, when you're applying on here, your pieces are not always going to extend all the way to the stitching. Some zones will, because that's the way it would be on the senior or pro level. Some will not. So here's my pre-cut piece that came. It came just like this. And what I want to do before I pull any of the backing off is just kind of line it up here and see where it's going to fit. I always want to work from my kind of the inner corners or any kind of curvature. Work from that out. And I want to trim these edges because they'll typically overhang and allow you to trim it the way you want it. If you want it to wrap around further or what have you. So it looks like right here is kind of my starting point right in here, and from there I'm going to kind of fan out to the edge. So in this case I'm going to peel back just a little. I'm not going to peel the whole thing off. I'm going to peel to about there and just tear that off, because I don't want the rest of this sticking while I'm trying to work with this. So I kind of hover it over the piece, and if it sticks a little down, it's okay. You just don't want to stick it too hard in certain spots, because then it could pull the adhesive off. So it looks like that's good right about there. I'm going to push. Now I want to bring this end, and this stuff's real flexible. I can kind of twist and turn this however I need. I don't want to pull it too hard that I'm stretching the material and changing the shape of it, but I just want to pull it a little bit. See, I actually don't like where I stuck that, so I'm going to pull it back a little. Go right about, if I look about, I'm lining up this corner with this corner. Go right about there. Push that down. Okay, so now that I've got that anchored in place, I can go back, pull the rest of this up, peel away that backing, and then again, just real carefully, kind of lining this up as I go. Now that I have kind of this stitching here, I want to kind of keep that all the way uniform down the piece. And then when it comes to the end of it, I really have two options. I could have trimmed this end here prior to starting so that it lines up with this seam here, or I can push it down and do a cut in place later. But right now I'm going to do the cut after the fact if I want this to be strong, and I just want to be real careful with an X-Acto so you're not cutting into the... It's always better to not cut all the way through this, and you cut all the way through and cut the stitching off, but you can see it cuts real nicely. So that's a pretty good fit right there. Now let's do the, if we do the glove. Now these color zone, basically, this is going to be one of those instances where if this were to be a senior or pro level pad, the actual color zone like here would overlap. You would have just the stitching on the inner edge, so the color zone is actually wider than this piece here. So since that's the case, and we want to be prepared for any existing color zone that you already have, you can see this piece would not extend all the way to the stitching, and that's okay, because this color zone, if there's one here already, is going to butt up to the end of this. So really this is going to just kind of fall inside of those lines. So that's about my placement right there. Looks like I'm going to need a little bit of a trim. Now if I know, we'll do it the other way this time. If I look here, I can see I want to trim it right about there. So I'll cut that beforehand this time, and then I'll peel back. Since this is a small piece, I'm going to do it all in one shot. I'm going to line up this inner kind of curve or corner, I guess, right there, while I'm also looking at this corner, just to make sure I'm kind of evenly spaced inside of this color zone.